Good morning, stars. Happy Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. This video is just going to be a quick review over topic 13, which was about order of operations, where we solved expressions, we wrote our own expressions, we evaluated expressions, and then we solved word problems with writing our own expression. So this is just a short little review to help you with your assessment for today. So, before I even start anything, I just want to go over. We have our order of operations here. We have B is the brackets that we were introduced to, and whatever is inside the brackets needs to be done before the parentheses. And then we have exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. But again, those arrows are there because we need to work left to right when it comes to multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. So our first question here, it says, which of the following is equal to 20? And then they give us 4 different expressions. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to solve each of them. So if we look at A, we have 6 times 2 minus 4. So again, looking at my PEMDAS, I need to do what's in the parentheses first before I can do this subtraction that I have here. So 6 times 2 is 12, and then 12 minus 4 equals 8. So it is not A. And then for B, I have 15 plus 18 divided by 3. However, again, I need to do what's in the parentheses before I'm able to do the addition that I see. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 15 plus 6 equals 21. Close, yet no cigar. And now if we look at C, we have 8 multiplied by 7 minus 5. And then again, we need to do what's in the parentheses first. So 7 minus 5 is 2. And then 8 minus 2 is 16. That is not 20. So just to double check and verify that D is correct, we're still going to do the operation. It's not going to take us long. So again, we need to do what's in the parentheses first. 5 times 5 is 25. And then 25 minus 5 is 20. So yeah, we're right. Our answer is D. Now, this one says to select all of the expressions equal to 9 times 13. So with this question, they're not actually asking us to solve it, but we are going to look through and evaluate each of the expressions because there are a lot of different ways that we can write 9 times 13. Okay, so let's go ahead and evaluate A. So 9 plus 10 plus 3. This doesn't even have us doing any multiplication, so we know that A is not going to be an option. And then if we look at B, we have 9 times 10 plus 13. So with no parentheses or anything, and if we think about our order of operations, we have the operations we have here in option B are multiplication and addition, which means I would have to do the multiplication first and then add 13. So this has me multiplying 9 times 10, not 9 times 13. So B is not an option. Right, and then I'm going to erase these right here just so I don't get confused. All right, and then if we look at C, so we have 9 times 10 in parentheses plus 9 times 3. So this one, if I look at my outside factors right here, 10 plus 3 equals 13. So this has me multiplying 9 times 10 and then adding 9 times 3, which is a way to also express 9 times 13. So C is an option. Right? And then if we look at D, we have 9 times and then 10 plus 3 in parentheses. So again, if we think about PEMDAS, 10 plus 3, we have to do our parentheses first before we can do our multiplication. sorry, getting ahead of myself. We have to do our parentheses before we can do our multiplication. And 10 plus 3 equals 13. So then look at that. It's 9 times 13. And then if we look at E is very similar to D. It's 9 times 6 plus 7. Order of operations means I need to do parentheses first. So 6 plus 7 is 13. And then I would do my multiplication second. So for the answer, we have all C, D, and E. Because again, we needed to select all of the expressions equal to 9 times 13. All right, the next one, it says, what is the value of the expression 8 plus 10 times 4 in parentheses minus 12? So you guessed it, we're going to write out our PEMDAS as a reminder. And all they're asking us to do is to solve the expression. So I'm going to rewrite it right here. And then let's look at the operations we see. We have addition, we have parentheses, and we have subtraction. The first thing we need to do is solve our parentheses. There's 8, 10 times 4 is 40, and then minus 2. Then with addition and subtraction, we just work from left to right. So 8 plus 40 is 48, minus 2, and then 48 minus 2 is 46. So our answer is C, 46. It says, which of the following expressions represents the following calculations? Sorry, so I typed this up from your assessment, and I feel like instead of giving you options, that we're just going to practice writing it together. So instead of saying which of the following, we're just going to write the expression that represents the calculation. Because a lot of times we need to go through and we need to eliminate the nonsense answers. So instead of even looking at any of the answers, we should solve it ourselves so that we can go back and then that's a way to eliminate our nonsense answers, is by proving it with our actual work. So it says to subtract 7, all right? So subtract 7 from the product of 9 and 11. Sorry, I forgot to write my PEMDAS. So it says subtract 7 from the product of 9 and 11. When I see the word product, that means I need to multiply. So the way that we have it written here is fine, because again, with order of operations, it has us doing our multiplication before we're doing subtraction, because that's what they want, is for us to subtract 7 after we've multiplied 9 by 11. Now, if you chose to do it this way and add the parentheses, that is still a fine. However, we did not need to, because again, multiplication needs to be done before subtraction anyway. And the next one says, what is the value of 200 multiplied by 6 minus 20 multiplied by 6? So let's write out our order of operations. There we go. So we have 200 multiplied by 6 minus 20 multiplied by 6. So first I need to do what's in the parentheses. So 200 times 6. So 6 times 2 is 12. And then I just add my 2 zeros. And then 6 times 2 is 12. And then I add 1 0. So 1200 minus 120. I'm just going to set it up over here. 0 minus 0 is 0. I need to borrow my 2 because I can't do 0 minus 2. 10 minus 2 is 8. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then 1 minus 0 is 1. So the value is 1080. So this next one says to describe the comparison and the value of expression A with the value of expression B. So all they want us to do here, all they're looking for us to do here is to, again, we're just evaluating the expressions. We don't need to go through and actually solve, okay? So if we look at this, so I'm going to write it out normally. Sorry, there is no division sign when you're trying to type. So this one says that it's 2 multiplied by 87 divided by 4.5. And then B says that this is 87 divided by 4.5. And again, they're just asking us to evaluate the expressions and describe the comparison in the values. So if we look at these, they're using the same numbers. The only difference is that this one is after you do the top expression A. Sorry. The only difference is that expression A, after you do what's in the parentheses, you need to multiply that by 2. So we would say that expression A is 2 times greater than expression B. Because when we do operations like multiplication and addition, remember, our numbers are getting larger. They're getting greater, not lesser. All right, and I think this is the last one. There may be one more. So this one says to write greater than, less than, or equal to make the statement true. And again, super quick, remember, we know that the alligator always wants to eat the greater number, okay? So let's say I'm comparing 6 and 4. My greater number comes first, so I know that this sign is greater than. And then let's say the alligator wants to eat the bigger number. Again, the alligator wants to eat the bigger number. So again, let's say I'm comparing them again. And 4 is less, but when my lesser number comes first, then the sign is less than. Okay? So let's evaluate these two expressions. So I have 543, okay? And in parentheses, multiplied by 74. And then once I'm done, I'm going to say, now here's the difference, is that in this one, we're subtracting 56. And in this expression, we're adding 56. So again, without even doing the math, without even having to solve the expression, we already know that this one is going to be greater just based on looking at the operations. Okay, sorry. We still have a couple to go. You guys are the best. All right, so it says to evaluate the expression 7 plus 27 divided by 9 in parentheses and then multiplied by 6. So let's write out our PEMDAS. All right, so we do have parentheses, and what we notice in our parentheses is we have addition and we have division. So we need to come back up here, and we see that division comes before addition. So before I can add my 7, first I need to divide 27 divided by 9. And 27 divided by 9 is 3. And then again, after we're done doing our parentheses, we'll have to do the multiplication. So 7 plus 3 is then 10. And when we multiply that by 6, our answer is 60. So we had to kind of think of it twice. We did have to do the parentheses first, but then in the parentheses, I wasn't supposed to add first. I needed to divide first. Because again, division comes before addition. This one says to write and solve an expression to find the quotient of 63 and 7 plus the product of 12 and 14. So let's go ahead and break this down. They want us to write an expression. So let's go ahead and figure out what operations we need to do. Oh, and they also ask us to write and solve it, not just write it. So it says the quotient of 63 and 7. when I see that word quotient, we know that a quotient is the answer to a division problem. So we know it's going to be 63 divided by 7. And then it says plus the product of 12 and 14. When I see the word product, I know that a product is an answer to a multiplication problem. So now my product, and then so I'm adding to the product of 12 and 14. Okay? So we could have, I like to add the parentheses just because it does keep it separate. But again, according to our order of operations, we would have had to do our division and multiplication anyway before we did the addition. I say there's nothing wrong with adding parentheses. All right, so let's go ahead and solve. So 63 divided by 7 is equal to 9. And then 12 multiplied by 14, I'm going to solve over here off to the side. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. Add my placeholder. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. Let's add those up. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then 1 plus 0 is 1. I'm left with 9 plus 168. Once I add those together, I get 177. All right. Oh, sorry. Now we're at the end. So again, good luck. I'm going to be on Teams from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. if you have any questions. And just a reminder, if you do log on after 1 p.m., that is when my office hours are over. So your question may not be answered until tomorrow when office hours resume. But again, good luck. I believe in you. I miss you. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're staying inside. I know it's hard, but I promise we're going to get through this together, okay? Miss y'all. Bye.